Hi everybody, this is Cynthia Readings, and this reading today is going to be about the solar eclipse happening on the 25th of October in the sign of Scorpio. Now, before I pull cards for you, I want to give you some information on this, okay? So this is okay. First of all, eclipses are, it's like they push us forward, and it is a time for change, and it's time for radical change, okay? Now, there is a solar eclipse on October 25th, and then a lunar eclipse on November 8th, 7th, I believe, okay? So yeah, so this is happening in Scorpio at 2 degrees, and this is very, like, it is conjuncting Venus, okay? I believe all of them are at 2 degrees at this time, but there are other squares happening too. I believe Mercury is close to them as well. Mercury is in the sign of Libra right now at 22 degrees, or sorry, at that time when solar eclipse is going to happen. Now, the moon is in square with Pluto, and we also have Mercury squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So this is a time where it's all about changes. It is really about where we need to make changes. And by the way, for you, especially if it depends where are your placements. Now, if you have Scorpio and Taurus placements, I would really suggest that you have a look at, your birth chart if you can. Even if you don't, let me just tell you that this is going to be impacting you the most. For Taurus placements, let me just say that it's going to impact more so like your physical, because Taurus is a fixed earth sign. And for Scorpio, it's more so like a self, especially if you're a Scorpio rising. It's even a Scorpio sun, it's more so like a self, okay? The changes that you need to make within yourself, okay? On emotional level. So this is also a time where there will be changes in money, in currency, okay? So as we all know what's happening in the world, okay? So if I look at it, in a broader like picture, that is where it's going to be impacting us the most. But I feel like even, as a collective, this is giving us a push forward to make changes in our lives. Now, this is again a time to step outside your comfort zone, okay? This is a time that you're ready to change. This is a time where some of you also need to challenge yourself, okay? Because, we know emotionally and, even physically the changes that we need to make, but sometimes we are in our comfort zone. Another thing I would touch is that this, solar eclipse is really about stepping outside your comfort zone and manifesting correctly. Because at this time, I feel like, especially with that Pluto squaring moon and then squaring Mercury, there can be, difficult conversations. There can be things, that we feel coming to the surface, but it's all about stuff that we need to change, having to learn the lessons the hard way and then moving forward. Okay, and, another thing I'm kind of getting here is that a lot of us are being pushed to make positive changes in our lives, okay? So if there's something recently negative that you went through, it's time that you learn your lesson and push yourself forward. Again, this is all about pushing ourselves forward, okay? Now, this is also going to be impacting us for almost the next 6 months. So this is not just our regular new moon and full moon stuff. This is like something very significant, and I believe last time it happened with Taurus and Scorpio axis, it was back in, I don't know, like 2012, 2014, and then back in 2003 and 2004. So if you remember what happened in your life at that time, good for you. I don't remember. I was a kid back then, okay? I am only like 23 years old right now, so I was in school back then, okay? All right, so let's see. So this Scorpio, solar eclipse is encouraging us to make the changes that are required for us to make important for our soul's growth, okay? And this is also important that we, it's also important that we pay attention to our behavior, self-sabotage, being lazy, procrastinating, or having plans and, purposely self-sabotaging yourself and your plans. This is about empowering yourself, okay? Now, of course, I'm going to go through all signs, but I'm going to give you a brief introduction before I move on to your sign, okay? Okay, now one more thing I'm getting here is that if you and somebody, you guys don't share the same values, if you guys are not on the same page, this is a time to understand where that person may be coming from, and if the vibe doesn't match, you need to let go of that person, okay? This is not a time to force things with other people, especially, okay? This is really about the depth, with the Scorpio. It's about intensity. It's about a call for change, okay? So Scorpio makes it all very intense and, adds depth to this. Now, this is also a time that we must release fear. We must release guilt and confront, okay? Sometimes we may not need to confront other people. We need to confront what we've been doing. We need to have a look at the mirror and really see what we have been doing, okay? So this is a time for you to have that, have a real heavy look at yourself with what you've been doing, where you want to be. Because again, like I said, the changes you're making now, they're going to be impacting you for the next 6 months, okay? Now, another thing I'm getting here is that this is about your shared resources. This is about money. This is about, like positive changes. So when you make positive changes within yourself, of course, they manifest in your life too, but this is something about money, luxury, things like that as well, with Venus being there, okay? Now, it all depends on your sign and where it's happening in which house and stuff, so I'm gonna get to that later on. But mainly, this is a solar eclipse that is helping us to strengthen even our intimate relationships, letting go of negative attachments. Like I said, what makes us truly happy, what makes us more fulfilled, okay? Now, this is also a time period to push forward towards new things, towards, finding new ways, and, letting go of the old. So it's pretty much out with the old, in with the new, okay? And also having a look at our addictions, okay? What have we been addicted to? What have, we been lingering on to, okay? So there's going to be new and potent energy. So I want you guys to pay attention to what you've been wanting to manifest, and of course check out your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture. I would suggest that you watch all 3 signs and then combine and get the message, but if you just want to watch one sign, then I would say watch your rising sign, okay? So to sum it up, this is all about, fresh start. This is about bringing that balance in our relationships, letting go of people who no longer serve us, letting go of codependency issues or just negative attachments, and having to let ourselves, get through that fresh start. So that is all that I have for you guys as an overall view for what's going to be happening for the solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. Do give this video a like if you enjoyed this. And now let's move on to your sign. Hi, Scorpio, the star of the show. Okay, let's see how is the, new moon in Scorpio impacting you. Now, this is, of course, a solar eclipse at 2 degrees in your sign, okay? And we also have Venus very close to this, so that makes it a conjunction very close, okay? So for you, what does it mean? Now, if you have, like I already stated in the intro video, if you have Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, it is very important, and even Scorpio Venus. Majorly, any major placements in Scorpio is going to be impacting you the most, okay? And again, because you may have Taurus, Scorpio placements, you may also have Taurus placements, or this is, it forms an axis. And so again, okay, let's talk about how it is impacting you. This is happening in your first house, which is you, which is yourself as a person. Changes are going to be happening within you as a person. And again, this solar eclipse is also urging us to make changes that are uncomfortable but are going to be good for us. Now, specifically for Scorpio placements, these changes are emotional. Okay. how you connect to things, how you connect to people, what serves you, what doesn't serve you anymore. All of that, okay, needs to be taken into accountability. And all of these changes that you're making, again, very significant changes, and they're directly impacting yourself. This is almost like out with the old, in with the new. It's like tearing your old identity and becoming the new you. Not because you're not the old person, or that person that you were, but because you're striving to be someplace else. And the changes that you need to make in order to get there. That also includes how you're expressing yourself, how you're carrying yourself, what you're ready to tolerate, what you're ready to change within yourself, okay? Some of you also need to change your personal habits. Some of you may be indulging something addictive or addictive patterns, behaviors. Again, to sum it up, it's about self-sabotage. Where in your life you're, like there's some self-sabotage that needs to go, if there is any. It's also very important for you to pay attention to how you are presenting yourself to the world. And again, you are being noticed, so let me tell you that as well. A lot of you need to be very focused on, it's like the best of the best kind of an energy. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're manifesting, wherever you're wanting to be, you have to put the best of the best energy into it to see the results, okay? A lot of you, again, it's about having the strength, the courage, being brave enough to move towards the new opportunities, where we see ourselves. And again, because they're going to help us become a better person as a whole. Like I said, it's all about your identity. It's about you, okay? Now, a lot of you may want to, pay extra attention to your words, because words are our manifestation. So what you're speaking, how you're presenting yourself, like I said again, it is very much impacting you at this time. Some of you may feel very like low in energy, and then all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I can conquer the world. So there may be a little bit of that too. This is really for you, Scorpio, about your self-confidence, about your true self, about being self-aware, So again, to sum it up, it's about new. It's like a new chapter in your life, turning the pages and, starting a fresh new chapter, or at least, sometimes it can also be about writing a whole new book, okay? So again, like I said previously, the changes that we make are going to be impacting us for the next 6 months, so be careful with that. So again, very attractive persona that you have right now. People are going to be very much attracted to you. So again, be careful of how you're presenting yourself. Be careful of what you're ready to tolerate from other people, because they're going to keep giving you that. Again, breaking your own limits, okay? The limits that are self-imposed. So don't limit yourself. And again, a new look, some of you may be experimenting with your looks, or like your outfits and things like that, or it's really about a new identity, okay, or becoming the best version of yourself. Do let me know, what are your Scorpio placements? Let's see, what do we have for Scorpio? I feel like you have a lot of personal power and authority if you're ready to use it the right way. A lot of you also need to be careful of your mental health, of your health in general, maybe eating healthy, exercising more, or just elevating your energy in general, Scorpio. Do pay attention to that. Feeling very excited, feeling very optimistic to make new things happen, to move towards new things. There's a lot of energy of excitement and newness here, okay? With eclipses, it tends to be a little bit draining as well, but then boom, we're flooded with energy. So I also feel like if you pay attention to this card, there's that bird is dead, and then there's one still there. So it's about out with the old, in with the new for you. And especially if I talk about your relationships, how have your personal relationships impacted you, and what lessons can be learned, okay, and what you need to leave behind in the past. Don't play it small, okay? Don't play it small. And if you make personal goals, if you write things down, then ace it, because you have the ability to ace it. Okay, there's a lot of like that chariot, very driven, motivated energy, and it's like that cardinal energy. Even though you're a fixed sign, so it's time that you use your fixing your goals and where you want to be, and then putting in that cardinal element of taking action. Okay, so very nice energies, very optimistic, very much like geared towards your self-improvement, your self-confidence. There could also be issues about, inherited money or shared resources. I do feel like things are getting much better for you, but you're somebody who has to, I feel like you've had to learn things the hard way. But nonetheless, it's a great time for you to make improvements. And again, most of these improvements are very positive. Okay? So let's see. What do we have for Scorpio? Libra got very similar energies, and who else? I feel like Virgo. I don't remember. Now, one more thing I'm gonna warn you about is that people could come in your life and they're like trying to paint a picture a different way than it is. So be be very mindful of that. Don't listen to other people trying to like tell you what to do and what not to do. It's you who decides, okay? And another thing I'm getting here is that this is really about, again, look at this card. This is really about endings and new beginnings, Scorpio. So, when we decide that we're going to let go of certain people, it's really hard, especially because we're attached to them. But once you decide that something is not working out for you, it has to stay there with you. It has to stay there, okay? Otherwise, you're going to manifest more of what you don't want. Give me one more. Balance. Again, striving for that balance. Now, this also means that some of you may need to make certain decisions that may upset people, but they're good for you. Okay. Now, one thing also that I keep seeing in this reading is confusion and some sort of mental fog. Now, I'm seeing this card, and before I was seeing the card of facade. Okay. So don't listen to people. Listen to yourself at this time. Okay. Like, opinion is an opinion, is good. They're suggesting something, but at the end of the day, you go to bed by yourself and then you're there with your mind. Okay. So make changes where you want to make in your life, especially if they directly impact you and your mental health. Because again, for you, Scorpio, it's about emotions. It's also about kind of like cleaning things up for yourself and for a better you. Okay, so that's it, Scorpio. Those were the messages that showed up for you. I hope that you got something out of this reading. If you did, do give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.